What's up, everybody? This is Omega Ace Gaming here, participating in Captain Algebra's first retro game challenge. Let's have a look at the rules. Rules. The challenge is a small Mario no death run. How far can you get before you die? You must play every level, including Hammer Brothers, as small Mario without dying. If you accidentally grab a power-up, lose it immediately to get back to small Mario. If you accidentally get a star, let it run out before moving on. Once you die, the run is over. Please submit your run to me by January 8th at 11:59 p.m. Central Standard Time. Please do not upload your video for others to see, because I will be making a results video towards the end of the month. Please follow the additional rules below that will be part of each monthly retro challenge. No save states, no cheat codes, no game genies. I guess that means you're out, Megadan. No glitches. If you have any questions, please let me know, and good luck. Well, it seems straightforward enough, right? Without further ado, let's dive right in. This is Omega Ace Gaming with a post commentary for Captain Algebra's monthly challenge. How far can you get without power-ups? This was a really interesting experience for me. The first 12 or 13 times that I did this, probably 14 or 15 times, I was actually recording the commentary live, but I found myself having to repeat everything I was saying over and over and over again, so I thought this would be a more practical way to go about it. Shout out to I Don't Give a Thumb for making the suggestion that I do it this way, as opposed to the way I was doing it. I found this a lot more easier. It was less exhausting, as you could see. I'm focused intently on the game. So this was definitely more beneficial for me. I want to take this opportunity to thank Captain Algebra for giving me the chance to participate in this challenge, this very, very unique challenge. I already don't play the game, I already play the game without the use of flutes, without P-Wings, mostly because I really, really love the game's design. This is actually my favorite game of all time. It's a common misconception that my favorite game would be a Castlevania game because my favorite game franchise of all time is Castlevania. But that's not the case at all. Super Mario Bros. 3 is actually my favorite game of all time. So thank you, Captain Algebra, for posing this challenge and giving me an opportunity to contribute to your channel in my own way. And I hope that this post commentary will make the view a lot more interesting. Well, just the gameplay a lot more interesting to watch. As you can see, I was chasing the boomerang. They're having a little bit of fun. I actually want to take this opportunity as well to thank Big Family Gaming for giving me what became my favorite controller of all time, the Joy-Card Sansui Triple S controller by Hudson, which is what I'm using during this gameplay session here. I could tell you this, even though I died about 14, 15, 20 times, I did not once blame the controller. It has a larger grip. It's essentially an NES controller with a larger grip and rounded edges, so it's a more comfortable version of a controller I already grew to like. So, that's really cool. One of the major benefits of playing a no-death run that's free of items is I don't really have to worry about collecting coins. I don't have to worry about collecting any items. It's really just focusing on making it to the end of each level. And as you can see here, I was pretty comfortable with essentially the entire first world. I didn't really feel that there were any major obstacles aside from maybe the Koopa Kid, who at times can be unpredictable. Or you think you've read him, and then you end up landing on on his face instead of his head, that kind of thing. So yeah, it's actually it was an interesting change of pace playing the game this way. Right there, you can. It took everything in me not to hit the block and fly over and grab the flute. Even though I don't use the flutes, I almost consider them like medals or trophies. I like collecting them. You know, just for the end game, just so I can take a look at how much I've collected at the end of the run. These I think they're called boom booms. I forget what they're called exactly, but you know, they're really simple. You just gotta time 1, 2, 3. So rather than hit the hidden block in this level, I chose to just advance without hitting it at all. Right here, you could just tell I just ran right past it. To save on time, because it does slow me down, and I understand that if someone matches my distance in this no death run, then it really comes down to time. So I made sure to stay focused on the goal at hand. I just didn't stop really. I took a couple pauses here and there just to take a breath, you know, to collect myself. So that right there, that hammer bro was actually really easy to take out. I'd say really my biggest concern are the Hammer Brothers in Worlds 2 and 3. The Fire Bros specifically in World 2 took me out twice, 2 or 3 times during these 12, 13, 14, 15 runs. You know, even at this point in the game, I already had them in the back of my mind. You know, the timing's simple enough, but sometimes strange things happen in this game. You know, the Fire Bros open their mouth, you hear the sound effect, and the fireball doesn't come out, and it just throws you all out of whack, you know? You lose your sync. Yeah, so right here I've reached the first airship, which is essentially the first major hurdle of the game. You can see me right there playing with the Koopa shell. As you can see, I was too lazy to disable the green screen, so I just left it there, and I noticed the Koopa shell was reflecting interesting colors because it was projecting what's on the green screen, what's on the green screen filter, essentially, and I just had a little bit of fun there playing around with it. I think I might play around with that Koopa shell more in the future, just during my other streams, just because I think it looks really cool. And you know, what better time to show off that Koopa shell than during a Super Mario Bros. 3 run. Yeah, you know, this is all routine. I wasn't really worried about dying at any point here. Although, you know, it does happen, you know. You slip up and you make a casual mistake. You get a little too comfortable. So I do have a strategy for most of the Koopas, is to just wait between them and let them hop over me and then catch them on their way down, as you can see. And that's pretty effective for the most part until you start reaching the Koopas that have unique abilities, like Wendy-O Koopa with the... God, what are they called exactly? Well, they're like little hoops that she throws around. You know, the ones with more variables are definitely more worrisome, and as well as the heavier guys, like I'm trying to remember some of the heavier guys. I think Ludwig von Koopa is one of the heavy guys, and so is Roy Koopa. You can't really stay on the ground for those guys. They stun you in place. But for, you know, for most others, I usually just stay in between. So I would say that was my first big sigh of relief, is reaching World 2. I said to myself, okay, my next obstacles... I saw 2 places in this world that I considered obstacles, and this level definitely wasn't one of them. You can see I kept a safe distance from this little fire dude right there, just so I can jump over him. I made sure to jump really high over him to make sure I didn't, you know, he didn't catch me on my way down or something. I couldn't tell you what I was thinking about at that moment. I definitely had a face of, you know, like I had something in the back of my mind there. I guess I was thinking about maybe some of the levels up ahead, like the sun, like the angry-faced sun. You know, that's an easy level, but I don't know, sometimes he catches you off guard. Actually, if you collect all the coins in this area right here, I believe you get an anchor, which is kind of cool. It's another item I rarely ever used, but in fact, I'd say I never used the anchor, really, but it's just another trophy. Something else I like to collect during my runs in this game. So this castle here is one of my favorite castles of the entire game, mostly because it has some of my favorite colors. I find it aesthetically pleasing. They're really, you know, the pitch black background, the white boos, the blue twomps, you know, the gray and white blocks, the spikes. Something about this castle just really appeals to me. I probably could have ran underneath those spikes right there, but I decided to wait and play it safe. Although I do like hopping on these pillars here. I'm not a big fan of waiting for the spikes to move up and down, so I usually just bypass them by just hopping on these little pillars. You know, it's safe enough. I don't really worry about it. And there's the 1, 2, and 3. Interestingly enough, towards the very end of the game in World 8, there's a star you can collect, and if you make it to the boom boom, I'm hoping I'm guessing the right name here, but if you make it to the boss of the castle and you run into him with Starman, he dies instantly. He explodes, and that question mark actually arrives upside down, which is really funny. I've shown that to a group of friends. I've never done it live. I'd like to pull it off live at least once. So this level here is what I consider one of the first obstacles of the game. Really because of one specific enemy, and I'm going to point him out pretty soon. Not this one, but the one right after. So the one I just hit with that block right there, I've landed on top of him multiple times, and he's killed me. I don't know if it's some kind of game error or what's going on there, but, you know, ordinarily when you land on top of those enemies, those specific enemies, you don't get hurt. But, after having died twice, maybe 3 times, during all these runs, I decided to just, avoid them altogether. So in this instance, I took him out with the block. Or with the Koopa shell, sorry. So there's the sun stage. Again, not a very difficult level, but a fear of mine. You know, it's you think to yourself, hey, am I gonna get too comfortable here? You know, am I gonna make a big mistake there? Right there, I almost went for the Koopa and wanted to land on him a second time, but I was worried that I was gonna make physical contact with the sun as I landed on the Koopa, so I opted against it. I waited a little bit. A bit of a sigh of relief there. I don't know if you caught that, but I dabbed my brow with the back of my hand. Again, the chain chomps are also a little scary for me. In this particular case here, just because I don't want to lunge into them. I almost screwed up right there. I panicked for a second, but I jumped back. I retraced my steps. I jumped over the Goomba. I'm kind of I'm very much relieved I didn't die right there. These jumps too, you know, you never want to overshoot that little square and end up landing on the chain chomp, so I'm glad that didn't happen. Right there I decided to go for the Koopa. They're easy enough. You wait for the second, and then you jump, and that's it. So you pretty much stay put in front of them, wait for the second boomerang, and that's your cue to jump. That's the hammer. I'd say the second major hurdle of this level would be the fire bros. I knew going into it that as soon as I beat this level here that I was going to go straight for the rock and go to the fire bros. You know, because I wanted to rip it off like a band-aid, so to speak. I didn't want to wait around for that one. So since I was able to, since I was allowed to use the Koopa shells, I use them as weapons against most of these Hammer Brothers right here, as you can see. And that saved me the pressure of having to jump on top of them at the right time. This right here, I hop even though I probably don't have to. Mostly because I get a little, there's this second boomerang right there. I get a little nervous about those fireballs, you know, what if they make contact with me? So I jump, just to play it safe. There's 3 mushroom cards, I didn't expect to get that. Gave me an opportunity to catch my breath, look around. And right there, I went right into it. There's my moment, I'm leaning forward, I'm making sure I focus on this here. 1, 2, 3. The timing was definitely not ideal, but it worked out. And there I was, so relieved. I'm laughing, I'm happy. Just because I knew I essentially overcame one of the biggest obstacles in this run, which are those Fire Bros, which took me out about 2 or 3 times before. Funny enough, the first couple of runs I had, I wasn't defeated by the Fire Bros. In fact, I took them out no problem, but it's easy to psych yourself out, you know? And as I stated before, their patterns aren't always obvious. So I do want to thank everybody. If anybody's watching this, thank you very much for caring enough to watch it for this far, you know? And, you know, it's not... I'm not saying that I'm not thankful for it. You know, plenty of people leave a like and they leave. They leave me a nice message, and that's cool, you know? We don't have time for everybody's videos. We don't have time for everything, you know? And that's the way we have to show support sometimes when we don't have time, is to simply hit like, leave a comment, you know, words of encouragement, and leave it at that, you know? Some people skim the video, that's fine too. So I guess if you happen to be listening to this, thank you. Thank you for your support. So here I am at the second airship. Easy enough. Again, it's easy enough, but it's easy to get nervous. So I took my time. I waited there for some of the bullet bills, the cannonballs. That was a close call. I didn't like that. That was a close call. A lot of close calls here. You could tell I got a little wide-eyed there. I was so nervous. Looking back, boy, am I happy that I didn't die there. Now, you know, I actually had a very decent run prior to this one, but I died in a way that I couldn't wrap my head around. I went backwards in a level because I missed what I remembered as some kind of secret. And I guess for a moment I forgot what my goal was, which was to stay alive and beat every level. And it did not. Oof! There goes that. my little victory there. I was so happy to clear World 2. Yep, there I go laughing. Yep, I was so happy. I was happy because I knew that even though I had already made it this far once before, I wasn't going to make the same mistake twice. I wasn't going to backtrack in a level. I still can't quite figure out why I went backwards. I want to say it was to retrieve some kind of secret or grab an item. I don't know, but now I'm glad that that's not going to be the run that I'm submitting. It's going to be this one. I was already ecstatic at this point. I knew going forward that I was gonna make more progress. I wasn't gonna die in the same way. You can see I'm taking my time here. I'm letting that enemy go farther ahead of me. I don't wanna approach him until he's far down enough. And there he goes. That was my cue. He came kind of close, but I wasn't too worried. And this is essentially where I died last time. I went backwards underneath there. I don't know why. Ooh, close call. I freaked out. I laughed a little there. That was terrifying. You know, even though I had already beat my old, what do you call it? Even though I beat my old run, you know, I wanted to keep going. I wanted to go farther, see how far I could take it. I remember having a couple close calls here too. That cheap right there almost ended it for me. I was very much relieved that I didn't go out that way. Although at this point, had I died, I would have been okay with it. I had already accomplished so much. I made it farther than I thought I would. I went for a star there, but I didn't get it. It didn't really matter. I was kind of just feeling myself. I said, "Ooh, let me just run up to this square here and grab a star and just catch my breath for a few more seconds." But I treaded forward. So here's Big Bertha. I remember a few people that were doing the run, or that were, you know, attempting the challenge, were intimidated by Big Bertha. So I made sure not to take the enemy lightly, and, you know, took him out any opportunity I had here. I paused for a moment there to catch my breath. I didn't want to overdo it. I didn't want to run across and, you know, run the risk of dying. So I wanted to recollect myself and take my time, and I'm happy that I did. Ooh, close call there. I knew at this point it was the home stretch. I was very much relieved. I knew I wasn't gonna die. And that's the end of that level. Going forward, you'll see me catching my breath at the end of each level. So right there, I'm surrounded by I call them the Water Koopa Brothers. No, the Water Hammer Brothers. I call them the Water Hammer Brothers. Ordinarily, they're not really a threat, but when you're small Mario, they are. Because it makes jumping so awkward, you're constantly jumping in these puddles. You know, a lot of people here are well aware of which one of these doors is the exit, and for whatever reason, I always end up going into this one here, where the one up is. And I forget that the one just only to the right of it is the exit. So as you can see, I waste plenty of time here picking the wrong doors. You know, you would think after... God, when did this game release? Like 1990? After so long, you would think that that I would remember where the door is. As you can see, I kept picking the wrong door. This is another stage I actually really like the colors in. The varying shades of blue. The ground with the checkerboard pattern. Definitely a favorite of mine, of the castles in the game. There's actually a castle towards the end of World 3 that's a favorite of mine as well, because the entire thing is just a really deep blue, and you're underwater, and I don't know, I just think it looks really cool. There I went again. I shook my head in disappointment because I went right back to that same door. I didn't want to get squashed between the enemies there, so I jumped over. And as always, I just made it to another boom boom. I timed it 1, 2, and 3. So at this point, I had just crossed my fingers that my path was not going to be blocked by the Water Hammer Brothers. I knew going into this that if I did manage to clear all these stages and the Hammer Brothers weren't in my way, that I would have to go back and go after them. But for the time being, I decided to just pace myself, attempt to knock out as many levels as I could, you know, to put myself farther ahead technically than say somebody that went for a water hammer brother and died immediately. That jump right there, I'm surprised I got it on the first attempt. Most of the time I don't. That Goomba with the wings there, I waited him out. I didn't want to run into him. This right here, wow, what a close call. I couldn't believe I survived that. And right there, I had a moment. I laughed because I knew I was avoiding the Hammer Brother. I didn't want to deal with him. I didn't want that to be the end of my run. So I told myself, I said, well, Ace, if you make it far enough and all you have left is the airship, then you can go back and fight the Hammer Brothers and see what happens. I decided to just, you know, move forward, knock out more levels, as many as I could, before my run came to an end. I was taking my time, tapping A gently, just... I decided at that moment to just entirely avoid the big Bertha, take the path around Bertha, and around this Cheep here. I didn't want to risk getting, you know, eaten. And there goes that star, so I can catch my breath. I didn't think I'd actually make it this far. I expected to die soon after. Maybe World 3 Stage 2. I thought for sure that I would die there. This level I kind of consider just you know, an opportunity to catch my breath. I consider this a very easy level. Take my time with it. It doesn't scroll very fast. The enemies aren't very threatening. Although I did throw them aside there to make sure they didn't, you know, they didn't end up killing me. I didn't want to risk leaving any of them alive. I didn't want to risk making a really simple mistake. So right here, I forgot about that Goomba. You can see me shaking my head there. I thought, did I just call it a Goomba? I forgot about that Koopa. And I shook my head thinking to myself, wow, you almost screwed that one up, Ace. You forgot about that one Koopa. It almost ended your run. But it didn't. It didn't, so I was relieved. And, you know, there goes the end of this level. I honestly forget the name of this enemy. It makes a return. Wait, yeah, it does. It makes a return in some of the 3D Mario games. Right there. I died. I didn't expect that to happen. It was a hell of a run, though. It was a hell of a run. I was satisfied with it. Thumbs up. Thank you very much for watching. Everybody have a great day. Here goes my first try. Wish me luck, guys. Why did I do that? I don't know. I feel like they're gonna take me out. Most of the time but it's because of that I'm, you know, more inclined. What a way to go. Pardon me, sir. 1, 2, and 3. Yeah. Huh. I did that to myself. Wow, they finally took me out. Best everybody in our community. You know, we have such a big community, and so many people of that so many people of that community are so hardcore. You know. This level, man, this level's really it can be very unpredictable. Some of the enemies are just really scary. Like that. Like that. I can't believe it's happened twice now.
Thank you so much for playing my game.